Hi, if this is your first time here, welcome to my YouTube channel. Or if you're like me and you've been here before, welcome back. I'm Chaotic Curl, and in this week's video, we're actually going to be working with some crochet thread. But before I get into that, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and of course, don't forget to follow me over on TikTok and Instagram, where you'll be able to see pictures, videos, and TikToks of the previous projects that I've made, as well as the project that I'm working on now. So I'll see you guys over there. So, like I said before, this is going to be my first time working with thread, but it's not going to be my first time working with my smallest needle. Or smallest hook. I found a pattern, so I'm going to be following a pattern for this video, but I found a pattern that calls for a 3.5 millimeter hook with the size 10 thread, so I think I'm doing pretty good. The thread also does state that it can be used with size 3.5 millimeter knitting needles, so I'm pretty sure I can do the same thing with a crochet hook, which let's not even get into that. But I am going to be using a 3.5 millimeter hook on this thread, so it's not going to be the teeniest of tiniest of hooks. Not yet. I don't think I'm ready for that yet, but I am giving myself an introduction to the thread, so I am actually pretty excited to make this project because it is going to be very matchy-matchy. It's going to be an accessory. It's going to be very matchy-matchy with another thing that I made, which you guys will see soon. But yes, I am very excited about this pattern, and I mean, I'm so excited. Let's just get into it. And here are some of the supplies that you're going to be needing for this project. Like I said, you see my 3.5 millimeter crochet hook. I have 21 pearls here. The pattern does call for 85, but I'm not going to be putting as many pearls as the pattern has, so I figure I wouldn't need as many. If I do need more, I do have some more, so I'll get more if I need them. But for right now, I've just separated these 21. I'm also going to be using the safety pins as stitch markers if I need it. Now, I did make a sample of this project and I didn't need any stitch markers, but just in case, I'm ready. So I have my stitch markers, and of course any other products or any other things that I am going to be using throughout this project, I will make sure to list in the description box down below, so don't forget to check that out. And for the star of the show, we have my thread, which as you can see, it's Clea. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right, by the brand Circulo. And in the back, you can see it calls for a 1.5 millimeter hook. But like I said, it also takes up to a 3.5 millimeter knitting needles. So I'm just using that as interchangeable with the crochet hook. And that's what we're working with. So I did already start the pattern since I am following somebody else's pattern. I'm not going to be giving too many details, but I did make sure to link the written pattern as well as the video for this pattern in my description box down below. So definitely go and check it out if you want to make one for yourself. But I did go ahead and get started. I started with the round portion of the bonnet. This is a Lacy summer hat. So it builds up a lot like a bonnet. So I started off with the back portion, which is just the circles, and now I'm actually ready to get started on the pattern. So I will show you guys how to do that pattern, but making a circle is something that you probably should know how to do at this point. We're also going to be working with treble crochets as well as chaining, and you are going to need to know how to treble crochet two together for this pattern. But of course, I'll show you guys how to do that right now. I just gave myself a little bit of a head start by finishing that circle. So let's go ahead and get started on the pattern so that way you can see what stitches we're going to be using here. Okay, and just remember, if anything is confusing for you guys, you can always check my description box down below. I have the written pattern, I have the video as well linked in the description box down below, so you can check out that tutorial if you want clearer instructions. The written pattern also contains a diagram at the end, just in case you need a bit more clarification or in case you need to see it. But this is basically how the pattern goes. So it is a 2-row repetition since the edges are different. But what's basically going to be happening as far as the pattern, I have my first treble crochet. So I'm going to go ahead and make another treble crochet, skip this stitch here, and make a treble crochet into the next stitch. Okay, and now we're gonna go ahead and chain 2. And now here's where it gets a little bit more complicated. So I'm gonna start my next treble crochet, yarn over 2 times, go back into that first stitch where I worked my previous treble crochet with the chain 2, pull up my loop, yarn over, pull through 2, again yarn over, pull through 2. And since we are doing a treble crochet 2 together, we're actually gonna stop here. I'm gonna reset my treble crochet and I'm gonna skip a stitch, and into the next stitch we're gonna go through that loop, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And now you see you should have 3 loops on your hook, and here we're just gonna yarn over and pull through all 3 to complete that treble crochet. Now we chain 2, yarn over twice for my treble crochet back into that same stitch that we were just previously working in, pull up my loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and again we stop here, reset my treble crochet, skip the next stitch, go through, pull up that loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through all 3, and again chain 2. And I'm just going to keep going this way until I make it to the end of the row. Now for the end of the row, you should have 1 stitch that's not worked, but I'll show you guys what that looks like once I get there. So I'm just going to continue this way, the way I started, until I get to my last stitch, and then I'll show you guys how that works out. Okay, so I have a couple more stitches before the end of the row, but like I promised, I'm here to show you guys how the row ends. So I'm gonna go ahead and start my last treble crochet. Well, it's not my last, but I started it. Okay, and we're gonna make sure we're doing the treble crochet 2 together. Skip this stitch into the second to last stitch. We just go on ahead, work the rest of the stitch, and there you have it. So when you end the row, just like how we started the row, you're going to end with a treble crochet in the second to last stitch. So we're going to leave this stitch here of the circle empty, and now you can just go ahead and turn your work and get started on the next row. And this row actually starts off with the V stitch. So I'll start my treble crochet with that stacked single crochet 3 times. So that's 1, 2, and I'm going to do the third single crochet on the stack, chain 2, and then in that same stitch we put our treble crochet. And for this one, we're not going to finish it. We're going to go ahead and start the second treble crochet, and into that 2 treble crochet 2 together space from the previous row is where I'm going to work my next stitch. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then we just treble crochet everything together. And just like I started the row, you want to make sure that you end the same way. So this row is going to end with the treble crochet V stitch, and then the next row will start like our first row did. So I'm just going to continue repeating this pattern until I get to the size that I need for this cap. So I'm just going to continue working it from here, the stitch the same way, making sure that you chain 2 after each treble crochet 2 together, and then just remembering to do that treble crochet 2 together for the next stitch. And each stitch from this row on is going to be worked in the treble crochets 2 together. So as you can see here, the two together from the previous row is where I'm working the stitches for this row. And like I said, I'm just going to continue from here building it up. And if you need any advice or any further details, again, in my description box, I have the pattern as well as the video tutorial for this pattern specifically. So you can just go ahead and check that out and you can get all the details that you need. But I'm going to continue from here and I'll check in once I'm about 5 or 6 rows up just to show you guys what it's looking like. And then of course I'll continue going from there. But this is what I have so far. And don't forget to check that pattern out. So I'll see you guys in the update. Okay, so as promised, I'm 5 rows in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, yeah, I really am. I'm 5 rows into the pattern and this is what it is looking like. It actually looks really super cute. It's kind of like flowers in a way, but yeah, I'm supposed to get to 17 rows. So with the first 6 from the circle plus these 5, that's 11. So I have about 6 more rows to go, but we'll definitely see how that goes. Yeah, but this is what it's looking like so far. It's still not big enough, obviously, to cover my head or anything like that, but it's looking really cute. It's working up really nice. I'm really liking it. I'm getting more and more excited the more I'm working on it. But yeah, I'm just going to continue building up with the same pattern and I'll check in once I get those 6 more rows in. I'll check in and see where we're at. We'll even do a little bit of a try on just to see what's going on and what it's looking like. But this is where we are so far. Okay, this is as far as I've gotten so far. So this is 9 more rows. And I really like the way it's turning out. This is it on. I still have a couple rows left and I'm still gonna do those rows just so that it falls more over my forehead. But this is what I've got so far. I'm loving it. Okay, so I finally made it to the right length. So I'm ready to start adding the fan details and the pearls to the edge of the bonnet. But this is what we have. This is what it's looking like. And so yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get started on that last row, which is gonna be the fan detailing and adding the tassels for, you know, the little straps on the edges. So I'm gonna do that stuff and then I'll come back and show you guys what it looks like done. Okay, in this section is where I'm going to be working things a little bit differently from the pattern, because it does say in the pattern to do the shell stitches first and then add the string for the tassel, but I'm actually going to chain 70 for the tassel first and then I'll do the shell stitches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start obviously with my chain. So I'm going to make a chain of 70 stitches, work my way back up that chain just by slip stitching, and then I'm gonna go around the back. So I'm gonna add a border on the bottom portion of the bonnet so that I can end up on the other side. I'll do the same thing where I'll make that chain of 70, come back and slip stitch across that chain, and then I'll go ahead and I'll add the fan stitches. So that's actually what you guys are gonna be seeing me doing now. Okay, so now I'm to the point where I'm ready to add the fan stitches around the brim of the bonnet, and we're going to be doing treble crochet fan stitches where it has 5 treble crochets in the fan. So what I'm going to do to get started is just go ahead and do a single crochet into that first stitch of the brim, and then yarn over twice, and in the space of the treble crochet 2 together, that's where we're gonna build our fans. So this is gonna be my first one. Again, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, now into the next treble crochet 2 together, we're going to do our single crochet, and then again we go into that next set and we do 5 treble crochets. And I'm just going to continue it this way all the way around the brim of the bonnet until I make it to the other side. And of course, you want to finish off with a single crochet, not with a fan stitch, and then we'll add the pearls. So that is what the brim should start to look like. And the pearls, as you can see, I don't have all pink like I showed at the beginning. I have white too. I didn't have enough of the pink alone. So I am going to be adding these pearls, pink and white, just interchanging the colors. And just in case I need it, I have my 1mm crochet hook because I do want to add the pearls crocheted in. I don't want to have to sew them on. So what I'm actually going to do is finish the fan stitching for the border, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to slip stitch across the border so I can add these pearls into the middle of each fan stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and finish the fan stitch on the brim, and then I'll come back and show you guys how I'll be adding the pearls. Okay, so I made it back around and I'm ready to start adding the pearls. As you can see, I already added a few just to make sure I knew what I was doing. But this is how I've been adding them. So, like I said, I'm slipping the stitch across the fan stitches. And when I make it to the third leg in the fan, I just start my slip stitch like regular, switch to my 1mm hook, put the pearl on the hook on the yarn, and then I loop the pearl through onto the yarn, go back to my original hook, and I just continue slip stitching. Okay, and you want to make sure you're slip stitching into every stitch. You're not missing anything so that it doesn't look weird. And I did do one at the beginning, just cause. But yeah, I'm just gonna continue going this way, adding the pearls to the third leg of the fan, so in the middle of the fan, so that way they look nice. And I'll show you guys how I do it again. Again, I made it into the third leg, pull my yarn up, put my pearl onto my 1mm hook, loop it through the yarn, and then put the pearl onto the yarn and continue with my slip stitch. Okay, And that's how I'm gonna work it up until, well, that's how I'm gonna work it up for the rest of the brim until I finish it. And once I finish these pearls, I'll be done. I'm not adding the other pearls like they have in the pattern onto the actual bonnet, so I'm okay with just having the pearls at the edges. So that's all I'm gonna do. So once I finish this, of course I'll come back and I'll show you guys what it looks like, and it'll be done. So I'll show you guys what it looks like once it's done, which it'll probably be a couple minutes still for me, but you'll be seeing that now. So I hope it looks good. Enjoy. And here it is with the pearls and the 2 strings. In the pattern, you do end up adding a couple more tassels, but I'm happy with the way that it looks now. So I'm not gonna add anything else. I really like it. I'm so happy I made it. It's so pretty. I can't stop smiling since I finished it, but I'm glad it's done. The pattern was super easy to follow. This yarn was super easy to work with. The pearls look perfect. I feel like everything went exactly the way that I wanted it to go for this project. So I'm super happy that I made this, cute accessory, this lacy hat. It's gonna be perfect for what's left of the summer, plus the fall, and maybe even in the winter. Who knows? It's up to me how I'm gonna use it, but I'm definitely super happy that I made it. And of course, if you want to make your own, please check out the description box down below, where I have the pattern as well as the video linked, so you can go ahead and check those out to make your own lacy hat. And of course, if you do make one, I want to see, so don't forget to tag me over on TikTok or on Instagram at ChaoticCurl_crafts, where you'll be able to see this project as well as other projects, and you'll be able to get in touch with me so I can see your projects as well. But thank you for joining me in this week's video. I hope you guys have a great week, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!